Well, hello and welcome everybody. Randy Replay back at it again with Minnesota Vikings football. Back on the air, back on the line here on the SSN. Guess what? The 6-4 Minnesota Vikings start a three-game road trip against the Lions, Falcons, and Panthers here today. So you can see the Packers 6-4, the Vikings 6-4, and the Lions are down in the bottom of the division at 3-7. Rightfully so. They have some injuries. We're going to get into those right now. For your Minnesota Vikings, Luke Slazewski is out with a dislocated elbow for 2 more weeks. We'll get him back prior to the Carolina Panthers game. And for the home team, Detroit Lions, they have DJ Hayden out with a fractured elbow, 2 weeks. Tavon Wilson Sr. with a shoulder tear with 1 week left. And then Jordan Hill with the Achilles tear out for the season. So that's how that shakes loose. Winning things here. Seems to be a theme as we take a look at the team's schedule. Of course, the Minnesota Twins just capping off their 4-game win streak, and so are the Minnesota Vikings working on a 4-game win streak, completing the series sweep of the Kansas City Royals. That broadcast was very fun to call for Randy, but now we're back in the 4A of the NFL, of course. 2 weeks after the bye, actually 3 weeks. 4 of our next 6 games are on the road to end the season as we draw closer to playoff football. Looking good for the Minnesota Vikings. So we're going to no doubt have a big game against the Packers there in week 16. So this has been Randy Replay, getting you ready for everything Minnesota Vikings football from Ford Field. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We will check in with you at halftime.
I'm Larry Ridley. You're tuned into the NFL on EA Sports. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Today we have an exciting matchup between two teams looking to perform on a big stage. It's the Vikings going up against the Lions.
All right, Larry, first opened in 2002. There's a look inside Ford Field here in downtown Detroit. Both teams on tunnels just a short time ago. And, of course, the loudest cheers were reserved for the hometown Lions. They're set to go as they will match up with the Minnesota Vikings. For the 78th time, Thanksgiving Day football has come to Detroit, and we're underway from Ford Field. This will be taken in at the 1. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. So here are the Lions now coming out for their opening drive. They'll be led out by the 9th-year man out of Georgia, their quarterback, and that's Matthew Stafford.
And the numbers were not pretty. I mean, they don't look right. When you throw 2 interceptions, no touchdown passes, there's no way to really make that work. But I thought there were a lot of positives in watching his game tape. I think he's close to putting on a good performance. Let's see if he can flip those numbers around in this game. And, of course, rally his team to a win.
Theo Riddick, he's at the 40, past the 20. Touchdown, Detroit. Theo Riddick, his 9th touchdown of the season, and the Lions are going to take a first-quarter lead. The first play from scrimmage, some of these people haven't even taken their seat.
That's what is commonly known as a fast start. That's what my horse racing friends would say. They caught a flyer out of the gate, and guess what? They're in the lead now.
Now Matt Prater for the point after. It's up, it's good, and the Lions lead 7-0. So they hit pay dirt on just one play. The long run, the scamper, and a very nice scamper into the end zone for the touchdown. Fielded about a yard deep. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. And here's a look at their leader, standing 6'4". They'll come out throwing here on first down. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he's able to get up here to the 26. That throw good for 4. It's second down. And they're 6 yards away from picking up the first here on second down. Now they'll throw here out of the gun. Quick hitter here, it's complete. He was locked in. 2 trips to the end zone, Charles, over 100 yards receiving.
How about the combination of route running, confidence going downfield, and the ability to go up and get the football? You're exactly right. It was hard for them to stop him.
Charles, what's the mindset here offensively? You gave up the touchdown pretty quickly. Would it have changed if you'd gotten a stop and it would be 0-0 right now, or no?
I wouldn't think so. I think in most cases, just down a touchdown, you know, I mean, we're just getting started here. It should be a long way to go. You think to yourself, stick with the game plan, all the things you worked on in practice. But you have some teams that when they get down, their natural tendency is to aggressively strike back. And let's see if they want to get outside of the game plan we expect and try and be aggressive on their first series.
Being chased out left. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. The coverage may be too good that time as he breaks away for 19 with his legs and a first down.
Well, that was man coverage. So once he decides to run with the football, there's no one to account for him, and he turns it into a nice gain.
They'll look to throw here on first down. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up.
This team is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. He came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
Just a couple on the pickup there, and now it's third down. Pretty good little 2-play sequence there. You foresee incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or two because you want to try and defend on third down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
On play action, they'll throw. He's going to air one out. And the third down pass falls incomplete.
On every offensive coordinator, every play caller sheet, they have about 5 or 6 plays per game that they call shot plays or big plays, and you don't get many opportunities to dial them up, and they just did, and they drop it with a great chance to make a big play. That's going to hurt.
This one angles out of bounds in a good spot in the coffin corner. And they're going to mark this out of the 5-yard line. And, you know, their previous possession, they were able to move the football, but still wound up punting in the end.
You know, in 2016, Carolina had a 20-play drive that lasted over 10 minutes. And remember how it ended?
In a punt.
Yeah, gain on first down. Well played, I must say.
Yeah, only getting 1 yard. There was no room to run. They'll drop to throw. He'll find his man on the comeback route. Complete. They call it a gain of 19, and it moves the chains.
Ability, but there was no way he was getting away on that one.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. Going up top. Got a man, it's caught at the 6-yard line. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Vikings are an extra point away from tying this thing up. And that time, he came out of the slot for that big play downfield for the score.
I think what we just saw there, partner, was what we call scheming a guy open. Put him in the slot, know that he has tremendous speed. What you're doing with your other receivers is likely running shorter routes to draw the attention closer to the line of scrimmage, to give him a chance to get downfield and turn it into a one-on-one route.
Oh, this is blocked. This is going the other way. And I think he's going to go. They're not going to get him. The 40. He's at the 30. And all the way into the end zone, and that's 2 points. And on third down, a nickel formation here defensively. Stafford gives to Abdullah on the draw. And Abdullah lost the football. Call it no gain on the keeper, and it's going to bring up a 4th down.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get them home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. And the 10-year vet knocks it through the goalpost. And they double their lead, pushing it up now to 12-6. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. 11 more yards that go around, a 1st down as well. And he'll give it here to his running back. And hit behind the line. He lost the football. It's loose. And fortunately for him, he's able to get it back.
What's that panic that we've talked about oftentimes that you feel when you lose the ball?
You can sense it.
Oh, you can sense it. And somehow he got to it and was able to recover it for his squad.
Oh, it's a touchdown if he holds on. Instead, it's 4th down.
Go back to him, continue the hot hand, and make them adjust to you defensively. I like what they were trying to get done, even though they weren't successful.
They'll set up a throw. And my goodness, he had it and dropped it. And the Lions will take over. And he'll have a tough time living that one down. It's one thing, Charles, to drop a pass. It's quite another to drop it on 4th down.
And so many teams work on that in terms of locking in on those key downs. You know, you and I both been to practices where we've seen, hey, 3rd down situation.
Touchdown! Amir Abdullah, his 6th touchdown of the season.
But they were unsuccessful.
And the 10-year vet knocks it through the goalpost, and that will swell the lead to 16.
Right? In this case, definitely. He's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how
he rifles one that's intercepted. It's the 2014 NFL interception leader, Glover Quinn. And he'll return it to the 24-yard line. And that was a young pup, the rookie, being intercepted by a veteran DB.
And I loved our quick conversation. They got you the football, gave you a great opportunity. You got to cash in and get some points.
And he has his receiver. That's Jones. Lions touchdown. Want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here.
All right, here we go.
On 1st down, he'll drop to throw. Flush to his right. On the run, he'll let this go deep right side. It's caught at the 10. Touchdown, Vikings. A great play there. His 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Vikings are able to cut into that deficit.
Brandon, my man, just one sentence for that one. Clinic.
And that's what they've done. They lead the league in points per game this season, but it's been quick strikeability as we saw on that drive.
I think they're actually intimidating defenses because they're back on their heels right away, wondering where it's going to come from, how they're going to hit them. This group is well organized, well coached, and extremely confident in what they do.
Here we go.
From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. And he's got it for the 2-point conversion. So they tack on a pair more here to narrow that deficit a bit further. Former DB, how tough is it to defend that?
It's really difficult because your natural inclination is to chase the receiver.
And that is caught. Touchdown, Detroit. Marvin Jones with his 2nd touchdown of the game, number 7 on the year. 1st down.
He's coming off the line so fast. I think he's intimidating the defensive backs with his explosiveness, and he's chipping away at their confidence.
And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense, as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this 1st half. Plays like that, he won't be number 2 for long.
Well, that's what often happens when you have competitors running around the field. These guys know where they stand in relationship to yardage, totals, numbers, the whole deal. And let's face it, all of them, they all want to be number 1.
And incomplete, he dropped it in the end zone.
The way he's been slinging it in the 1st half, you expect everything he throws to go for a touchdown, but I guess he's going to have to wait to try and pick up that 3rd, isn't he?
Yeah, I thought he had him for a second, but you're right, not to be. On 2nd down, here's Stafford. And not only did he drop it, he dropped it in the end zone. This offense so far on third down, they've hit 4 of 7. This is 3rd and goal. Alone to the right is Jones. Now Stafford on 3rd and goal. And incomplete. He had nowhere to throw, so he just tossed it away. But that brings up 4th. How about the defensive stand here from 1st and goal? 3 straight incompletion.
Yeah, I think people are wondering why didn't they try and run it at least once in there. But once the first incompletion happened, it's almost like they were committed.
So we're at halftime here in the annual Thanksgiving game in Detroit. As we'll send you down to Orlando as we check in with Larry Ridley and our EA Sports halftime report. Larry?
All right, Brandon, we'll see if I can get through this without being skipped as we welcome you to our EA Sports halftime report. The Lions are simply running the show in the first half. They've controlled the game and are way out in front. The Vikings have an uphill battle in front of them, but will try to claw back in this one.
Well, hello and welcome back up here into the booth for your halftime break. What a weird game this has been so far. At the half, the Minnesota Vikings are down 14-39. We score once in the first, miss the extra point, have it blocked and returned, and then we score again in the second quarter and go for 2 and get it. So Smeagol with the 2 touchdowns today. We're going to take a look at his day. He has a QB rating of 80.1. He is 9 for 22. That is 40% completion percentage, for those of you that didn't know how to do math or didn't look over here. Just 172 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the 1 interception to Glover Quinn. This team is very, very good defensively, and it's showing, as the running backs aren't doing too much either. Justin Sandman has 5 carries for 4 yards and a fumble. Travis Parker, 2 carries for 9 yards. Daniel Hendricks, 2 carries for 14 yards. Smeagol, 1 for 19. The quarterback leads the team in rushing. Derek Fahey, 1 for 1 after a big output last week. And then Sam Gable, 1 for 9. Receiving, it's Luis Gonzalez, 2 for 6. Darian Wilson is 2 for 55 and a touchdown. Travis Lee, 1 for 4. Derek Fahey, 1 for 14. And Daniel Hendricks, one catch, 62 yards and a touchdown, channeling his inner Randy Moss. Nobody cares about blocking. We're going to go to defense and look at total tackles, and it's Tevin Fair in there with 6 tackles, 2 of them for a loss. Jerry Myers and Thomas Cross each split 4. And then Thomas Cross has the 1 sack. We're only able to get to Matthew Stafford 1 time here in today's game, and the 2 sacks allowed by Lane Johnson and Taylor Decker. We're going to go to defense for the Lions, and we're going to see how many. Okay, so 3 sacks allowed. Ezekiel Ansah, Kerry Hyder Jr., and Ray Malaluga get back to Smeagol the 3 times there in the first half. This team had to abandon the running game because we are now in danger of having the mercy rule put into effect. If they go up by 30 points, we're supposed to sim the rest of the game as per league rules. So Theo Riddick did leave with an injury. We did not have any injuries. So look for this running game to pick up here. It's not looking too good. No runs over 20 yards, and the longest run of the day was by your quarterback. Longest run of any running back was by 11 and Daniel Hendricks. So we got to get the running game going. They had to abandon it. But here in the third quarter, I mean, we get the ball back here on Thanksgiving. We just got to get a win here. It looks bleak, but crazier things have happened in the NFL. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you after the game.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And the ball is knocked out, and he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. A great effort there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Vikings are able to close the gap just a bit.
I'm glad we were paying attention during the rules seminar, because we learned the only time you can't advance a fumble like that is in the last 2 minutes of either half.
Right. Other than that, if that ball's out, whether forward or backwards, it's live and free for anybody.
No doubt about it. When you say free, that means he's got free reign to pick it up and go. And that's exactly what happened there. Took it in for a touchdown.
And this time he gets it to go as it is up And good. Look at the Lions offense as they get ready for their first possession of the second half. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly...
And that's caught inside the 35. And he's going to be out of bounds down near the 35-yard line. That one goes for 36 yards. So here, the men in charge are going to be looking at whether or not the receiver had possession of the ball as he went out of bounds.
And they have to make sure that the receiver got both feet down in bounds as well.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
A little bit off of that play, a little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum. Yeah, every now and then you can actually tackle that guy.
And Tate's got it. And he takes this one in for a Lions touchdown. Golden Tate.
Evade people, on the run, had to get on his horse, still accurately throws a nice pass for a first down. I'm not sure anyone in the league has a more confident arm than Matthew Stafford does.
And he takes this one in for a Lions touchdown. Matt Ossiana, his second touchdown on the season. Next possession. And you think he personally is evaluating his game so far? He was pretty good in the first half, been good so far here in the third quarter. He's got to like it, right?
Not looking for the dramatics here. Not trying to set the world on fire in terms of stats. It's almost like you're driving. Hands at 10 and 2, alert for anything out there. How they did overall. Hemmed him in and gave him nowhere to go with the football.
They'll drop to throw, escaping the pressure right. And the defense has it covered. It's intercepted. It's the rookie from Florida, Tease Tabor. And to the 40-yard line, that's where the return stops.
I think that interception happened for 2 reasons. Quarterback gets outside the pocket and panics a little bit.
Big offensive explosion help leading them to victory. And the defensive guys, they're just saying, hey, put those points up every week. We'll just keep winning.
They will gratefully accept them, won't they? It makes their job that much easier when they're scoring that many points. Allows them to play with a totally different style and a different flow.
So for the Lions, the win keeps them barely hanging on to their playoff hopes as they move to 4-7. And now they'll get the weekend off as they get a little extra time to prepare to face the Baltimore Ravens. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, it's a loss that sets them back in their playoff push as they fall to 6-5. And they'll try to turn it around next week as they head to Atlanta for a matchup with the Falcons. That'll do it for us. For Charles Davis and all our hardworking crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. For more, find us on Twitter at EA Madden NFL. It's a win for the Lions as we say so long from Ford Field.
And with that so long, we welcome you back into the booth. One of the weirdest games we've seen all season. And our second mercy rule put into effect as the Detroit Lions, went up 30 points. So we did put the mercy rule in effect, and we simmed pretty much the whole fourth quarter, as you saw. The last drive of the Minnesota Vikings day went for an interception. Smeagol threw another one. He did have a good day during the sim, but whatever. We still pick up the loss in Detroit here on Thanksgiving. Going to get you into these stats. We'll get back to the main screen, and we'll preview the next week's game. Another big one against the Atlanta Falcons in that brand new stadium. So that'll be interesting to see. Randy would love some Chick-fil-A there, but guess what? Chick-fil-A isn't open on Sundays. Neither is it at the stadium. But that's okay. Smack 'em. 73.1 QB rating. That is good for 24 out of 45. That is 53% completion for those of you that don't know how to do math or didn't look over here. 347 yards on the day, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He now has 10 on the season. Longest pass of 62 yards. Rushing, it was Justin Sandman who got the bulk of the carries. He just didn't do too much with him. 6 carries for 10 yards. He did have a fumble. Travis Parker, 5 carries for 22. He did get that touchdown off the Luis Gonzalez fumble. So 2 fumbles in the game by the Minnesota Vikings offense. Very uncharacteristic, especially this season. Smeagol, 5 for 47. Now, you know it's bad when your 6'4", 285 quarterback goes for more yards than your running backs. So the good running back, Sam Gable, in terms of yardage. Travis Parker did have the touchdown, but the leading running back in rushing yards only had 32. 3 carries, 32 yards. Derek Fahey, after his really good game last week, he was brought back down to earth. 3 carries, 11 yards. Daniel Henricks just had 2 carries for 14. Also had a receiving touchdown. We'll get into that in just a moment. Luis Gonzalez maintains his lead of team receptions. He had 6 for 49. No touchdowns. He had a drop and he had a fumble in this game. So there you go. Darian Wilson, for what it's worth, 6 catches, 89 yards, a touchdown, and 3 dropped passes. You cannot do that. You need to catch balls. I know most of them came in the first half when they were trying to really score some points, trying to get the Lions off balance with a obvious run situation on first down, but they took a shot deep and just didn't go their way. Couple drops there by him. Lou Wang, 4 for 77. Blake Letelier, 2 for 23. Anthony Bisbee, 2 for 17 and a touchdown. Travis Lee, 1 for 4. Daniel Hendricks, 1 for 62 and a touchdown, channeling his inner Randy Moss. Jesse Peterson, 1 catch, 12 yards. Derek Fahey, 1 for 14. Nobody cares about blocking. We're going to go to defense and look at total tackles, and it's Tevin Fair with a season-high 12 tackles. Oh, my goodness, in this one. That might be enough to put him in the lead. 2 of them being for loss. So 12 tackles for Tevin Fair. Jerry Myers and Justin Lewis will split 6. Thomas Cross with 5. Poitras Alamalu, Rashid Sphinx, Robert Nichols, Ryan Buelow, Zachary Anderson with 4. Josh Fitzer, Danny Pickering, Jacob Pickering, Richard Salty, Otis McMiller with 3. Paul Fritchie, Cameron Quick, Aaron Nelson, Thaddeus Rosu, Josiah Russell. I almost said Jamarcus for some reason. Darian Wilson, Dan Nolte, Jeremy Lindsay, Scott Rethwell, Leo Neal, Matthew Arnsdorf, Pat Elfline, Joe Berger, Terrell Oliver, Taylor Pleen, and Brandon Baker, each with 1 sack. We only had 1 on the day. Thomas Cross with the lone sack. No interceptions for your Minnesota Vikings. 2 pass deflections by Aaron Nelson and Josh Fitzer. We had 1 forced fumble by Justin Lewis, recovered by the Detroit Lions. No blocks, no safeties, no defensive touchdowns for your Minnesota Vikings in this game. Brandon Baker, he was 1 for 1 and from 48 and 2 for 3 on extra points. Of course, he had the 1 blocked and brought back for a touchdown. 2 points, but you know. Taylor Pleen was a busy man today, definitely earning his paycheck. 4 punts, 199, netting 172. 2 of them going inside the 20. Only averaging 49 yards per punt, so not where you want to see. You want to see that number over 50, but we'll take it. Kick returns, Justin Sandman had 3 for 80. Jesse Peterson had 8 for 210, but no touchdowns on either side. And you really question bringing Justin Sandman on as a kick returner. I mean, he is a pivotal part of this running game. And to put him on kick returns just seems counterproductive. You know, he could have had these 80 yards in the running game today. Instead, he's taking a beating and getting all of his yards in the kick return. Maybe you sub him out for, I don't know, like not a very pivotal part of your team here. You put somebody in the practice squad and you call up the fastest guy you could find and just, give him a couple weeks and develop them through there. I don't know. We'll see what the team does here, though. I'm fairly certain that you can't roll with these two going forward, especially getting hit 8 times. He's one of your starting receivers out there. No punts for the Detroit Lions. Must be nice. We're going to get you back to the main screen where we will preview next week's game against Atlanta, and we will sign off here. Once again, your Minnesota Vikings defeated on Thanksgiving Day 67-31. This has been Randy Replay. I'll see you in just a moment. And hello and welcome, everybody. Back to the main screen. This is Randy Replay. Back at it again. Big injury decision. Doctors have cleared Luke Slazewski to play. Everybody. So the team will probably keep him out. this week, as coming up on the schedule, we have an away game against the now 7-4 Panthers and week 15 against the Bengals at home. So high chance of re-injury with that dislocated elbow. He is going to sit out one more game just to give him a good chance to return. He does have 17 catches for 260 yards. The guy who has replaced him in that time, Darian Wilson, will go into this game with 41 catches, 890 yards, and I do believe 7 touchdowns. So he does have a good chance to succeed, does Darian Wilson, especially with almost eclipsing 50 catches and 900 yards. So on track to have a very good season is Darian Wilson. Luke Slazewski, too, if he could just come back and be the contributor that he was before. So we will start the backup. And now we learn our fate in the division after dropping a must-win against the Lions. The Minnesota Vikings are now tied for first place. But since the Packers beat us, we will take second in the division. So still tied, but on paper we are second in the division, 6-5. So a tough part of the schedule. After winning 4 in a row, the Vikings drop one in the start of this 3-game away series. Coming up next, Atlanta Falcons. Then we go to Carolina and play the Panthers. And then we're at home against the Bengals. Then we go to Green Bay and finish the season off at home against the now 4-7 Chicago Bears. And with the Lions surging, look for them. This team proved that it could be good, so look for them to creep up in the standings. It's still anybody's game here in the NFC North. Only 2 wins separate the bottom 2 and the top 2 teams. So going down the stretch here, the last 4 games or so, 5, maybe 6 games. 5, I don't know how many games we have left. The next 5 games will be very, very interesting. This has been Randy Replay. Actually, hold on. I did see that a player regressed. I'd like to report on that quick, but I don't see anything here. It might have been Terrell Oliver, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't take a look at it, but yeah. Anyway, somebody has regressed on the team. Somebody has regressed on the team. I do believe that was Jesse Peterson, or it might have been Cameron Quake down to 74, but Smeagol has gone up because of his confidence and having a good season. Actually going to check on that. I do believe in the last yeah. So in the last broadcast, I did say he's over 2,000 yards. He's actually over 3,000 yards. Justin Sandman pretty close to eclipsing 800. Of course, you have Darian Wilson there, 7th in the NFL with 891 receiving yards. But Smeagol, 3,600 yards on the season. Definitely on pace for a good season. He'd thrown 10 interceptions in his first season, so he's been sacked 31 times. I do believe that is a league high. No, Eli Manning. He's actually pretty far down the list. So Cam Newton has been sacked 4 times more, so look for that to sneak in here. Yeah, once again, your Minnesota Vikings lose to Detroit 67-31. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you in the next one.